Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Backcountry Cuisine. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and we're making pancakes. Oh, I did it! All right, pancakes are one of those things I do not make very often in the backcountry. They are kind of tedious. You got to spend a lot of time cooking them. Only one person can eat at a time, but they are good. I mean, I do like them. And I did the whole thing on fry pans, and a lot of people really were not impressed that I did not use oil. The Pancakes lid, this is basically a lid fry pan. It's very, very thin titanium. And then this is the Evernew that's a little bit heavier duty, and it's also got a tiny bit of Teflon coating on the inside of it. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna use these two pans and see how they do with oil this time. All right, so once again, thanks again to the commenters, Florin, you in particular. You were like, no, you should use oil no matter what, and there's no doubt it does taste better with oil. I've got my baking mix here, which is kind of like a Bisquick. It's actually Pamela's pancake and baking mix. My system just does a little better with the gluten-free stuff. Let's just say my tent mates don't like it so much when I eat wheat. You picking up what I'm putting down? Gets a little gassy in there. I took 1 cup of the Pamela's baking mix and 3 tablespoons egg replacer, because it does do better with a little bit of egg, makes it a little more cakey. I also like to put a little bit of oil in my batter too. And that's what they call for on the baking mix. And I think it just, the oil exudes out, fries up a little bit better. So we're gonna use oil. In terms of storage of oil, one of the things I don't like about bringing oil is that it gets messy, really messy. So I get these little Nalgene containers. This is a 2-ounce one. It's perfect for overnight or a couple nights. But you can also use this kind of Nalgene. This is a wider mouth Nalgene. This works better for solids. So what I have in here is clarified butter or ghee. Always put these in a plastic bag just in case. Get some of that pancake mix in here. Put a little bit of oil in there, maybe a tablespoon, and then a little bit of water. I put in way too much water. It is like super runny. Okay, this. Oh, too little water. Start adding little bits of water at a time, and my hands are freezing. Yeah, that looks good. Always important when you're using these really thin fry pans to keep your stove low. This pan transfers heat so fast, it can really scorch the bottom of your pancake before it's really cooked. Let's start off with the Pancakes, and I'm gonna put a little bit of clarified butter in the bottom of this one. See, that's smoking already. Got a nice little coating of oil in there. We want the pan warm, so let's get some pancake on there. I recommend leaving a good amount of space around the outside edge of your pancake. Get your spatula underneath it. Ooh, I can smell burning already, so that's definitely too hot down there. So I can't even leave my pan on here. It's just too hot. Looking for bubbles around the edges is it to dry out a little bit around the edges. And see those bubbles that are starting to pop up around the outside? Yeah, that's a good sign. That means it's basically ready to flip. It's still a little bit wet, but ideally it's a little dry. What I want is to be dry around the edges, and those bubbles around the edges tell me that it's... All right, let's see how it goes. Yeah, there we go. It's releasing pretty well. Feels good. And yeah, pretty good. It's a little burnt on the bottom. Like, again, you got to keep it up right off of the stove a little bit. That way, if I'm just hovering up here, I keep that. I mean, I've got this thing turned way low. That heat just transfers through so quickly. Second side doesn't take as long. Let's see how this turned out. All right. Bam, pretty darn good. All right, looks pretty. I'm gonna try to make it easier on myself because this pan's so thin. I'm gonna use one of these. This is a lid to the Nido powdered milk. So I'm gonna put that on here first, and that's just gonna help to spread that heat out so it doesn't go quite as quickly through. All right, let's try this pancake out. So again, got a little bit burn on top, but not bad. It looks pretty good. Oil does. I mean, you're right. It totally does make a big difference. And it did cook through. You know, I had to hold it above, but it's not gooey in there. Already you can tell this heat diffuser is doing such a good job because I haven't had to tend it, I haven't had to hold it above. It's just doing its thing. I can see it bubbling around the outside. The diffuser makes a huge difference, and they're relatively lightweight. I think this one's a little bit bigger, so it's 2 ounces, 2.5 ounces. So that's a little bit heavier, but you can get smaller lids, and that would probably be perfect for this setup. All right, it's pretty good, but let's take it to the next level. In here, I have something called moose goo. Now, moose goo has been around for a long time, and it is a great trail food. The basics of it are peanut butter and honey. That's the basics. A lot of people put other things in there like protein powder or whatever, but I personally, especially if I'm gonna put it on pancakes, I just like it with the honey and the peanut butter. But I didn't have enough honey, so I also added some maple syrup. Totally fine. What you're trying to do is you're trying to bring down the viscosity. Ooh, smelling my pancakes. You're trying to bring the viscosity down so that it'll spread. All right. So that it'll actually come out of the tube even when it's cold in the morning. And these are cool little refillable tubes, squeeze tubes. I got this one's from REI. Put a little dollop on there. Oh, that's good. Oh. So as you can see, I'm not shy with my peanut butter and honey. I just put a big dollop there in the center, squish it together, and basically make a little pancake taco. And my filling is peanut butter and honey and maple syrup. Oh yeah. There we go. That looks good. Okay, for the next one, more butter. And I want to heat the pan up a little more. Let's see how that turns out. Oh, that's a nice chunk of butter. Let's throw down some pancake. Yeah, see this one okay, first of all, I have a lot more butter in here, a lot more butter, but also I let it heat up a little bit so it like sizzles right when you put it in the pan. I think that's a good sign. All right, I'm gonna try to flip this while I hold the phone. This is gonna be dangerous. Oh, see, no, I don't know about this. Oh, no, see, too early. It's too early, but I'm committed. All right, well, it was a little early. It was pretty sloppy. You can see how it spilled out over the edges over here. It's not what you're looking for. Rushed it, but you know, if I went too much longer, it would have gotten burnt on the bottom there. All right, this one's done. It looks good. Looks quite good. A little more butter. So, you know, key takeaway, butter is your friend. All right, let's switch over to the Evernew pan. This one's heavier duty on the bottom. I'm gonna start without the Scorch Buster, and then I'll move to the Scorch Buster. Because without the Scorch Buster, you gotta move fast. Oh, I smell it. It's burning. Yeah, well, I'm not paying as much attention to it, right? I was messing around with my batter. Again, Scorch Buster. Scorch Busters are awesome. All right, well, let's get the Scorch Buster on there. Make this just easier. Because I like easy, and I like better. I like easy better. Flipping. Ah, looks good. Ah. All right, so this one I made with oil. You can see, turned out great. Really did work out well. Again, still totally cooked through the center. Oil works fine. It's just not, in my opinion, quite as tasty, but still works great. All right, everybody, that's it from Backcountry Cuisine. We are, we're eating pancakes. Awesome, good stuff. Moose goo, super tasty. Even good for the trail. You can just stick this in your pocket. Oh, I'm hungry. Good stuff. A big thank you to Floor & You for pushing back and saying you gotta use oil, because you can absolutely use these pans, no doubt about it. And as long as you got oil. It's just that with the MSR one, you can use it without oil. But it is always better with butter and oil, always. All right, buddy, take care and eat well.
Seriously, it's so good. Oh, man.
I'm always putting maple syrup in